Okay. I'll,
That's
you
a
want me
good
to
note to end on, I
uh,
think.
do you guys want to continue this conversation,
No, no, I think
or
that
should
was
we
scene.
continue?
No,
I
no,
think that was
that
good.
was great.
Okay.
That's all we wanted to say. That's it.
Okay. So, want me to us to move ahead to the meeting with the Baron himself?
Yes.
Great. So once again, you are escorted once more to the room, to the meeting room. This plush, wooden paneled room in which there are several displays of artifacts and oddities and the whole thing. Um, in fact, I'd like all of you to roll me a D100, please.
Damn, Patrick and Al.
Yep.
Wow.
So Tom, you notice actually on your way there, probably about, I'd say about 50 feet or so, going down the main hallway to get to the Baron's area, you pass by an open door, and Tom, you alone actually hear someone say, "Wow, he wants us to sort through all of this? Yeah, yeah, and not a goddamn word about anything, okay?" And the other voice says, "Of course, of course." Shit. Is that some sort of skull? You hear him say, and if you decide to take a peek, you see what seems to be one individual, one man in a dark clothes, holding up what appears to be a sparkling deer skull. Yeah. But you're soon hasted along. Once again, you are face to face with Baron Dioxin himself, and his livery lips kind of give a patient smile as he gestures delicately for you to sit down across from him, as he folds his fingers into each other, and he says, "You have returned. I look forward to what you might have discovered."
Well, quite a lot, actually.
Good.
As I told you, we don't have the means of contacting this individual, but he has in the past, when he needed something, contacted us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not long after we left, when we were on Freedom Station, he did just that. There is apparently something he needs, and he is open to the idea of granting a boon in return, which would be doing for you what he did for us.
And what exactly would that be? The Baron says with a very small curl of the side of his mouth.
He wants us to go to Mars and capture some of its indigenous life forms alive for him to study.
Specifically, 3 different species of pairs of insects. Humanoid insects. About 8 high.
The Baron pauses for a moment and he presses his thumb to the bottom of his lip. He looks at you as in questioning, see if you're continuing on, if you intend to continue on.
No, Al's waiting to see
his reply.
Yeah.
Same.
Okay, takes a moment and he says, he scratches his forearm a little bit and he says, "This being, this entity, this creature," did he say why?
He has not. However, in our dealings with him, at least I, have gotten the impression that he, I guess you would say, is a scientist. He is constantly running experiments of some kind, trying to find information about who knows. But he's many of the things that he goes on about have to do with something he is experimenting or researching.
I see. The Baron pauses for a moment. He looks at all of you very carefully, and he says, "Mars is quite a distance away."
Mm-hmm.
It is. We are willing to, of course, do the footwork. We've heard how dangerous Mars can be. I've taken a brief look at it in your database, and I'm sure that there's far more beyond there that I don't know. Obviously, we're willing to complete this task, but in our current capabilities, it is beyond our reach.
Yes, yes, I imagine that ship of yours that's owned by Mr. Ward would take nearly 3 years to get to Mars. I imagine you do not wish to invest that sheer amount of time on doing such a task.
No.
Nope.
So is it right for me to infer that you'd like to look to me and use my resources to assist you?
That would be a fair assumption, yes.
Fair assumption. He lingers on those words a little bit. He says, do you know one of the best lessons one can learn after living 142 years? That is the importance of time and how precious it is. And time can be very sobering. I've had some moments, some long, silent moments to myself to consider this. Say, for example, a hacker, one of the dregs over in Outcast Station. He approaches one of my associates, and he says that he's found a way to hack into the KLS Corporation's main information computer. And in exchange for this code, this algorithm that he's divided, he would like ice worth up to 1 million units. Would you simply blind him, give him that money in the hopes that what he tells you is true?
No, of course not.
Exactly. So, you, in our conversations, in our initial conversations day back, you implied of this force that granted you a new body, a foreign body. And I admit, I was very, very interested. In fact, he gives a very slight smile, looks to you, Al. We had a very nice verbal back and forth in which I tried to probe and tease information from you and back and forth, and you stood fast to your claims, which I respect. But I got the impression, either one of two impressions, that either this was some great farce or that this is a power that you hold precious and dear to yourselves. My gut tells me it is the latter, and I respect for those who wish to hold on to power. And if what you tell me is true, and I'd like to believe it is true, then it is completely in my best interest to assist you. However, in order for me to have reached this amount of success, and he gestures around his opulent room, I don't just listen to my gut. I must also listen to my mind, and both of them must understand and confirm a situation before I act upon it. Right now, I have you, these 7 strangers, as he looks around to you. Actually, sorry, 8 strangers, including Blink now. These 8 strangers gathered around who've come from a planet, from Earth, telling me this wild story of an individual who only communicates to him, who do these wild, amazing feats of magic, he says. But in order for me to truly invest, I require some form of confirmation. Is there anything you can provide to me that can validate your claims whatsoever, other than your word? If you can grant that to me, then I'm willing to take a chance.
Out of character. Thoughts, guys?
Well, shit.
No, I kind of expected something like this, but I'm still not really.
You guys can take a moment and think.
Yeah,
We're pausing. Yeah, we're going to Inferno. You can't force us. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to be an asshole, which is like, he's staring at you. He's waiting for a response. No, you guys figure this shit out.
No, we're going to do this if we want. Really? Because there's robots now. And,
So, the easiest and simple, most direct way is to somehow, I think the time lapse has gone far enough that it could be another few days, so I could use the bag to get the particular gem and give it to him and have him contact Tyrant himself. That'd be That'd be the most direct way. The problem with that is, one, that would be a really bad idea to give him direct contact with Tyrath in general, just so he can actually get direct source and have us cut out. We're currently the middleman at the moment, and if Tyrath is just like, I like this guy a lot more, and this guy is just like, yeah, now I have the direct contact, we don't need you anymore, we are just out of all of the things.
Yeah, we're just
That's
screwed.
one. Two, Tyrath's told us specifically not to contact us until we have the job done. So,
That's what I was going to bring up. So
that is out of the question.
So, well,
So-
there is another opportunity,
Okay, what's that?
and this is just maybe to show him that we, it, it won't specifically be telling him about Tyrath and having him contact Tyrath and all that. Maybe we can actually show him we know magic and all this stuff, and we're telling him the truth. If we were to maybe take him into the Golden Place.
Well, I thought about that too, but taking him into the Golden Place, how would we spin that? How would we spin that to say that Tyrath is true?
I don't know,
Yeah.
but I can't think of anything else. I honestly can't.
Do we have anything from Tyrath? Anything at all?
We could show him one amazing feat. If we do take him into the Golden Place, we could show him the water orb.
No.
No, no. And by God, we're not letting him fucking touch that.
That
No, we're not going to let him touch it.
No. Here's the thing. We let that man know that we have a source of infinite ice, and I don't think anything will stop him from taking it from us.
Except
Yes.
it's freaking all of us in one room in another dimension versus him.
Right, and then we get out, and then what?
Well, he doesn't have the orb and can't get it.
He can if he takes the bag from us, right?
No. How is he going to get into the Golden Room?
Okay. So let's play this for a second.
How would he even know if it's the bag?
All right. That's still too risky. What's to stop him from just capturing us and torturing us until we give it to him?
No, we can't. We can't do the orb. We can't. I'm fine with showing him, the other stuff that we got from New Zoot, but not the fucking orb. No, I don't want to. That is just way too game breaking.
What? No.
Like I'm completely fine with the Witchfire wooden thing.
Oh.
Fire sword. You know what I'm talking about? The one that Mila had last time that we were fighting Nathan?
Right.
Yeah. We could show him that. That's a magical item. Fuck.
Wait. What if we tell him that we have something that Tyrath gave us, an item of extreme magical power that we're willing to give to him, a dream mushroom? I bet there's nothing like that up here. As a small token of what Tyrath can do. What if we convince him that, I was going to say, that our magic is a small token of his power? I know it's kind of cutting Lee out, and I'd feel bad about that, but if there's a way to convince him or show him that there's a difference between our magic and, mutant abilities, and that this is in some way related to Tyrath.
Okay, we can spin this. Okay? We tell him we are deriving a lot of our power, our magic from Tyrath. From this being that we haven't actually told him the name of. We could actually tell him the name, but we tell him, hey, we derive a lot of our power from this guy. He has given us a lot of boons, one of which is, hey, Patrick, can you go get the flat metallic rod from the bag? You go into the bag, he disappears. Then he comes back out with the flat metallic rod, touches it to any of us, even himself, and make us sound like anybody, including the Baron. What do you think?
Yeah.
I'm going to say one quick thing. is probably just a thing of terminology. I wouldn't say game breaking. I would say it would be a bad idea. But I don't think any idea that you guys could do would quote unquote break the game. But that's
Okay,
just,
I just flat out don't want to do it.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's fine, and that's fine. I don't want you to, I don't want people to think that you can't do this because it will somehow break my game. My game is not nearly that fragile. It would get fucking interesting, I'll tell you that. But yeah, anyways, I'll shut up.
What do you think of the flat metallic rod? Because we would potentially lose it.
Now, here's a question, though. All right, we got it from Newzoot. Is it magical or is it technological? Because if it's technological, it's possible that it's not that impressive. Like maybe they've seen it or had it or something.
We don't know.
Yeah.
It's an alien thing.
Roll me a D100, please, everybody.
Bop.
Okay. Patrick, in one of the times where you've had to sense magic or whatnot, there's a confirmation that rod itself is magical. And Tom, you can recall when you guys went to another place in New Lazel after seeing Newzoot to try to get some of these things identified. They confirmed it was some sort of weird alien techno-wizardry, which is a combination of technology and magic. Yep. But they weren't able to determine exactly what it was. But they figured it was some sort of techno-wizard device, but just alien and weird. There you go. That answers your question.
Mm-hmm. I'm not too sure what else could be the thing.
You know, there's always another option too that we should be willing to consider. We just say, I understand completely where you're coming from. I don't think we have a way to convince you, and I wouldn't want you to spend money on a venture you're not comfortable with, so maybe we should just part ways.
Yep. That is a complete option.
That is an option.
So maybe let's see.
Bad option, but it's an option.
I think the only way the only way I can really think of is they don't have magic up here. If there's a way to tell the difference between a magic and just a mutant ability, and we say this magic is, he taught us this. He taught us how to do this. That would be a demonstration of his power. And maybe that would be enough. Maybe it wouldn't. We could also give him a dream mushroom because I bet he'd have some funky dreams.
As much as I'd like to give dream mushrooms to everybody, I'm not quite sure if that will convince him.
I'm pretty sure it won't. But
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure that the staff will be very happy about that.
Yeah.
What did you give him? Oh my god, you fucking killed the Baron! What the fuck? Yeah, no.
He's clearly
Let's not do that.
It's a healing mushroom. What do you think's gonna happen? What is he, undead?
That's the thing. That's the thing. They don't know that.
Well, I'm not saying we're gonna force feed it to him.
Open up, old man. You know how people can have a heart attack while having sex? Well, maybe he has a stroke by having an amazing dream.
Okay.
Open up, old man. We're gonna show you his power.
So, this is the scenario that goes in my head. We go, hey, 1 second, and disappears, reappears. Here's a shroom. Now, trust me, eat this.
Oh.
Okay. What if we did this? What if we did this? What if we just said the golden room was a gift from Tyrath? That is an impressive display of power. We take him to the golden room. We don't really tell him about the water orb or anything like that. We just show it. Look at this golden room and had a nice tour. Let's go back.
No.
Why?
He's gonna be like, wait a second, what's that?
No. You go first.
Uh-huh.
And hide it.
Same time. We all have to go at the same time, though.
Yeah, I can't just do 2 ports in like a few seconds.
Yeah, it's only one.
I love that. You go first.
24 hours later.
Ken, I have to use the washroom. I'll be right back. I'm loving this
No,
conversation.
we could do that, though.
I mean,
we could do that. We could say, give us a day. Then you go to the golden room, tidy the place up, and then we show him the golden room the next day.
Yes.
I mean, think
That
how
is
impressive
definitely a
that would be.
possibility.
Look how impressive it was in that one
Let's
thug you dragged
see.
in there.
True.
You made him a believer. I mean, I can't think of a better display of power. Spells and stuff, mutant abilities, whatever. But if we say this golden room was a gift from Tyrath, and we just say, give us a day, because we'll see what we can come up with, right? We just tell them, we're not sure. Give us a day to think about it. And then next day, after you've gone in there and tidied up, hid everything that we don't want him to see, then we just take him in there. Obviously, he'll probably want to come with a few guards, and that's fine. Take him in there, show him the very impressive looking room. Just don't pull the same act on the thug. And then take him back and say, this was a gift from Tyrath. This is what he's capable of.
Another
Point to Austin and say he can put up with him. Dun dun.
the only other magical item that I have on me in the ship is the fire sword that we could possibly show him, but he might want it.
You know what? I don't like any of this.
Yeah.
I'm very much going like, all right, if you don't believe us,
Your loss.
Yeah,
it is really your loss. Like we can't really like prove anything to you other than a few things that aren't equated with what you're directly asking.
I'm kind of with you, Piff. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of like, we're bending over backwards to get this guy a boon because maybe he can get us a ship?
Yeah. There's a lot of like maybes and things. Great adventure. Love it. This is kind of a point where there are things that we can do, but definitely not willing to do.
Yeah. I think.
And by the way, I just want to interject here quickly as a GM. Don't worry about the adventure. I can make a bazillion adventures, so don't let that be the determining factor. Okay?
Yeah. No, I don't think any of us are worried about that.
I'm worried.
The only downside is how are we gonna actually tell Tyrath, or when are we gonna tell Tyrath that we decided not to do it?
If you can remember, he didn't give a particular timestamp to that.
Nope.
For one.
No, he didn't.
Two, his time moves much slower than ours. So even if we take 5 years and still not do it, that's like a few days for him.
Okay. And
that's about a month.
Here's another way to go about it too, because we do want to eventually, we don't want to go back on over with Tyrath. What if we did this? All right, look, we don't have a way to prove this to you. You're right. He contacts us. We don't contact him. We don't have a way that you're thinking of. Is there something else? Is there something on Mars, something about Mars that would make the expedition worthwhile to you? You've got very skilled people right here that are willing to take the risk. Use it. If not, I understand. I respect your decision completely, and thank you for the Star Kabosu.
So long, and thanks for the Star Kabosu.
That's actually completely fine. We're just like, look, there's no way to straight up convince you of this. But we can do a thing for you on Mars if you need something there. Just so if we are, I guess, the worst terms, lying about this, you can at least get something.
Yeah. Make it worthwhile. Yeah, I'm all for that, because quite honestly, I think that anything else we try and do, we're going to be digging holes we may not be able to crawl out of. I mean, there's already a risk, though not a high one, but a risk that once we say, oh, well, nope, we can't. Sorry, have a nice day. He'll be like, no.
Yeah, there is that.
But I'm with you.
That's a risk for anything.
I don't think we should stick our feet into this lava pool.
So, if you guys have a somewhat consensus, we can slip back in character if y'all like.
Sure.
Okay. Would you like me to repeat what he said last, if I can recall it correctly?
No, I remember. He
There
just
we
wanted
go.
us to
Okay.
prove it in some way, shape, or form.
Mhm.
And I think the characters would all take a long look at each other,
Mm-hmm.
and then Al would say, I completely see where you're coming from. I mean, after all, I was just telling you my past. I wasn't trying to gain favor. I don't think there's anything that we can really show you that would convince you. He contacts us. We don't contact him. We don't have a way of getting a hold of him. And thus, I don't think we'd have a way of convincing you. The only thing I can think of is we're already willing to go to Mars because we want to complete this task for him. Is there anything on Mars that you might need or want, or anything that would make an expedition worth your while?
The Baron sits back in his in his tall chair. He gives, and you can see on his face is a small, satisfied smile, as his eyes, his pale, milky eyes, pull away from you and start looking all around him. He says, "Where do you think I got all this wood?"
Al pauses for a second. I will be honest with you, I hadn't really considered it. I'm used to wood.
I imagine. The only other place other than Earth, which there's only been one expedition down there, one could possibly get the trees in order to create this amount of wood, would be Mars. I like wood. And yes, there are things on Mars that you could most certainly do for me. So you can't provide evidence. Considering the powers that we deal with, I couldn't say I'm completely unsurprised, but I'm glad you realize that there's still things we could help each other with. If you can't give me evidence of your claims, perhaps instead we simply help each other. Mars, however, is a dangerous place. And if what you say is true, and assuming it is, and assuming that you get me things from Mars that I'm very interested in, I'll still have to invest an equal amount of resources ensuring that you're safe as can be, at least. He pauses for a moment. I have funded 2 successful missions to Mars. And so I know it can be done. However, the risk is great. He pauses for a moment and he says, "What if I were to tell you you might be able to get the specimens you desire without having to go all the way to Mars?" He quirks a brow.
Are they alive?
He gives a small frown and kind of a side to side, maybe coy gesture.
Al would say, it's a difficult thing to answer, simply because it would be hard to make you believe, but if we didn't have to go to Mars to get these specimens, if we could get it to the person we were talking about right now today, then you could have your boon very quickly.
Yeah, all you would need is a willing volunteer to swap.
Or, and I would say, yeah, we used people who didn't deserve to live.
I see, he says. Interesting. So the body was not created for you. It was inhabited by someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, he says. Well, I I don't want to disclose what I know and what I don't know too soon. But how about I see two possible routes, he says. I could fund a full envoy expedition to Mars, another banner attempt at landing on that wretched planet, and you would be at its helm. I would get resources, significant resources that I desire, and perhaps even more information, the most valuable of which is to understand more about the poor fated colony itself. That is intriguing, although it is a long period of time, a big investment, a grand enterprise. And so that is certainly one route. But this boon that you speak of is very tempting, and if there is a path of least resistance, I'm willing to go that way. However, such exchange of favors would be lessened instead of me having to provide you ships, supplies, food, fuel, protection, cages, the whole 9 yards. All I would really have to grant to you is information where to find such a thing. Correct? So in order for me to disclose this information, once again, an exchange of favors should be given. So I'd be wondering if you'd be opening of doing a small task for me, something equal to the value of the information I would share with you. Would you be open to this possible arrangement?
So let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly. You are suggesting that there is another source to get 3 pairs of live insects from Mars without having to travel to Mars. And if we do a small favor for you, you would be willing to confirm this and give us the location.
Exactly. Shall I propose the favor first?
Yes, I think that would be a good way to go about it.
Can I really just say something really quickly out of
Sure.
character?
Sure.
Out of character? Yo, dog, I heard you like favors, because we're doing a favor for him, for Tyra,
I know.
body, and we're doing a favor for this and that, and jeez.
Well, Burn, never enter the realm of politics. You would hate it.
What a complicated web of intrigue we weave.
I don't know. Donald
It
Trump
is.
doesn't seem to do that many favors.
Hey, that's because he's fucking stupid.
We're
Anyway,
going to get the Mars to cage themselves and send them over.
Yes.
how are you going to do it? It's just going to happen.
It's gonna
Okay.
happen. Don't we worry about that. Don't you worry about that.
Anyway. Shall we slip back into character?
Yes, let's.
So the Baron taps the armchair, the arm of his seat, his chair, and you see a small computer screen kind of emerge from it itself. It's a touch screen, and he touches it a little bit, and in the silence of the room, you hear small bleeps and boops as he's clearly accessing something. And he says, "The person that you're working with, Mr. Stephen Ward, that's his name, correct?
Yes, it is.
Owner of the Thunderhawk and the Twilight, in your ship that you currently are using, the Twilight
Yes.
Covenant.
Mhm.
He started quite the business for himself. He kind of came out of nothing. Looks like he's doing very well now that he's expanded his business. Interesting thing enough, though, he doesn't have adequate protection. Are you familiar with some of the services that the network does?"
I'm going to be honest with you. No, we're not very familiar.
Tom is nervously going to look at Blink.
And Blink is wide-eyed, and she's looking straight at you.
Okay.
The Baron continues. The network space is a very dangerous place. The Outcast Station itself is just the tip of the iceberg. There are all sorts of undesirables, anarchists, pirates, cutthroats, who will, if they're given a chance, steal from those who have earned their lifestyles respectively. The network offers a form of insurance, a form of protection. We ensure that cargo arrives in time. We ensure for a nominal fee that the right people are protected. As long as this insurance continues are paid to us, everything moves smoothly. Think of Orbit, he says as he gestures his hand, is a giant inner working machine with all these gears. And our insurance is the grease. We ensure things move smoothly. And if the grease is cut back, then problems start to arrange. So my proposal is simple. In order for me to be comfortable in displaying this confidential information to you, I would like Mr. Ward to have our form of insurance. And since you know him so well, I think it'd be only fair that you propose it. In addition, if you could find 2 other businesses and have them sign insurance contracts with the network, I would say that the money that we would get from these 3 enterprises, Mr. Ward's and 2 others, that would be more than enough for me to not only pay for the information on where to find this, but perhaps even assist you in acquiring these specimens. Preventing a long and arduous Mars mission.
Out of character? Yeah, I am totally not comfortable with this.
Come on, be a space mobster, motherfucker.
I'm guys. I'm going to be right back. But just so you know, my vote is no.
All right.
Yeah, that's a bit
Since
too
squeeze God, let's
shady.
get down and dirty. We're gonna get 5 other enterprises in on this, and we're gonna give them over the magic bag and tell them all about it. And we're going to sell off Mila again. She's just like in episode 1.
Yeah. It's gone full circle.
Yeah. I think the only ones that haven't actually been sold off or prostituted, or at least fake prostituted, is Patrick. And Patrick, I think.
Al hasn't been sold. His body has not been sold or manipulated or blackmailed.
Right. So it's just Tom and Mila.
Yes.
Okay.
So far.
So far, yeah.
So
Don't
And
say
Cam.
never.
So should we just quit all this space business and open up a brothel or something?
Maybe.
I'm just kidding.
That'd be a lot more easier. People would get fucked less.
Patrick
Hey-o.
would just be like, should be on the front desk going like, "Oh, hi, you want money for the sex?"
I'm sorry. What did I walk back into?
Well, the guys have postulated that it might be just simpler to open space brothel than dealing with all this stuff.
Look, yeah, okay. So, out of character, guys, I mean, I don't mind having this great grand expedition to Mars. That sounds like fun. I am not gonna be Rocky before we started boxing.
You know, I actually never watched Rocky, so that went straight over my head.
Unless I'm really forgetting, but I think Rocky started off as like an enforcer for the mob.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, the more you know, Star.
So what? Sorry, you continue to confer yourself. Feel free whenever you guys are done. You can slip back in character. After all, he did propose.
I do believe that we are all in consensus to go to this whole big, huge Mars mission, right?
Okay.
Or nothing. Yeah, or bust.
Or nothing.
All right. Well, then let him know.
All right. So, again,
Patrick?
I want Patrick to say what it is.
Oh, I thought
So,
you already.
Patrick, do you want to do this or not?
So, yeah, Mars mission's pretty neat. Going and giving them protection and having their protection money go into the protection pocket of this man
All right.
is probably not something I'm particularly too fond of.
I just wanted to be super sure that we're doing this. Everybody's in consensus.
By the
Okay.
way, Piff has the best way of explaining things. This is not something I would be too keen on. Anyway, yes.
All right. Then the player characters have another long look at each other, and then
This time Blink is staring at all of you, and you definitely get the thing of like, I fucking told you guys, I fucking told you guys, you idiots, you fucking earthborn morons.
Al
You can see
would
that all in their eyes, in between the blinks.
Al would turn back to the Baron, and he would say, "We would not be comfortable doing that, no. So I guess that leaves only an expedition to Mars, or for us simply to... Well, let's just say that's not an option we're interested in."
The Baron nods a little bit. He says, very well. I just simply thought you might be interested in expediting things, but the Mars mission itself would be very interesting. At the very least, we'll see what I would get. He says, of course, regardless of the expanse of my network and my resources, what needs to be provided will not be able to be done overnight. It will take approximately a week or so for me to hire the correct crew, contact the right individuals, and acquire the necessary resources in which to launch this expedition. You are welcome to stay here in the meantime. Or, he pauses for a moment, the ship of yours, the Twilight Covenant? There is no need for that ship to come on the expedition. It is far, far too slow. And since you'll be gone for... The round trip will be approximately 8 months. So 4 months there and 4 months back. Considering I don't think you would like to keep the Twilight Covenant docked inside the inside joke for 8 months. I don't think Mr. Ward would appreciate that, would he?
No,
Nope.
I assume he would not.
So I encourage you to to wrap up things with Mr. Ward himself. In fact, if you would rather, I'm very willing to do so. Explain to him the situation, deliver his ship back onto him, and smooth any relations you might have with him. Make sure you leave on adequate grounds. And in the meantime, if there are any, since it's going to be a long voyage, if there's any particulars that you would desire, please present them to me and I will factor them in and acquire them, because I imagine 8 months is a long time. You might want to get things, and he pauses for a moment. He smiles over to Patrick, growing, for example.
That's a good point.
Al would definitely say, the words you speak make a lot of sense. We would like to inform Mr. Ward and return his ship to him. Perhaps a word from you would help. However, it is professional courtesy and just an upstanding decency to tell him ourselves.
Good. I'm glad to see you have some respectability. That's good. You learn a lot from the people that you deal with, and it reinforces my opinions of you. So, like I said, you have a full week in order to do so. Freedom Station is a mere 36 hours away, adequate time for you to return the ship. And once you do so, I'll arrange for transport to pick you up at Freedom Station and return you here if you desire.
Fair
That
enough.
sounds good to me.
Sure.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, I'm very glad we're able to do business together, and I greatly look forward. Here's hoping that my current form continues breathing for 8 months. And I'll leave you now so I can begin to make arrangements. Expect contact from my people relatively soon to help fill in the details.
Thank you very much
Okay.
for your time.
Well, you're very welcome. A very unique opportunity presents us both, he says, before you are escorted out. So, before I continue on speaking out of character, letting you guys know about the whole shebang. I would just like to say that Blank would probably she would particularly talk with Tom, but this wouldn't be so private that the others couldn't contribute or hear, right?
Mm-hmm.
But soon after, she would breathe a small sigh of relief, and she says, "I'm glad you guys didn't take that last option. That's pretty shady." But she kind of takes a look at Tom and looks at the rest of you. Considering you guys have no idea what you're going to get yourselves into, and the only people who have your back are these network guys, I'm thinking I might have to come with you. She kind of gives a bit of a smile and a flick of her tail. Make sure you don't get yourselves killed. I know giant beetles mean nothing to you, but you'll believe it more when you actually get on the surface, I reckon. Heard a lot of horror stories.
Oh, no, it's not that they don't mean anything. I mean, those things are fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Really fast.
Good.
And we don't actually have any plasma blocks this time.
No
Fusion blocks.
No explodey blocks.
Fusion blocks. Yeah.
Okay. So, my dear friends. Oh, sorry. Were you still in character, or are we good wrapping that up?
No, I think if anything, unless Tom has something or something want to say, Al would say, we do some risky things, but in my experience, that kind of insurance tends to lead down roads we'd rather not travel.
Excellent. No, wait. Not excellent. Sorry, that was Inferno talking, not Blink talking. I'm just like,
I mentioned her like
that's
tapping
great,
her
that's
claws
nice.
together. Excellent.
Excellent. Yeah.
Clicky. No. She gives a bit of a nod of understanding. She's like, oh, good. You're not completely brainless.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay, so wrapping that up, let's talk about this good old-fashioned expedition, okay? I already, of course, know exactly what the Baron wants to provide to you, right? And in fact, this is an 8-month trip, right? 4 months there, doing your thing, and 4 months back, okay? So, of course, I don't want you guys to be completely 100% beholden to what I am going to give you, right? And because there might be something that your characters might be interested in doing in, I don't know, say passing a 4-month-long journey, I figured I'd open the opportunity to you guys. So if we want to take just a few minutes here, and I'd like you guys to consider what you think would be a really big boon or resource to you to help you to achieve your goals, and also maybe help you spend some time during this long journey, let me know. And then once we're done with that, I'll start. I think we'll go into we'll do the role play with returning the ship back to Stephen Ward and that whole thing. But
Sure.
yeah, so we can start to get thinking, brainstorming, that sort of thing. Or if you want, we can actually have our next scene be returning the ship to Stephen Ward while you guys kind of think of the background and what you might desire. It's up to you. What you want to do first.
I think I like the return of Stephen Ward's ship while we're thinking. I have a thought of what I want Tom to do while we're on the way there. I don't know about like items that we could use to help us achieve this. So
I have a thought definitely for what Al would want on the way there, and as far as items, he would definitely like ask for something
power
that would
armor.
Be...
Power armor or something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say something that would be the equivalent to the Flying Titan.
Yeah,
something fast, maneuverable, protective, more so than everything we've had so far, or since in a while. But as far as I'll say out of character, a physician, but in character more like any database.
A physician?
Yeah, physician, a doctor, an MD.
Oh, okay, you want a physician. Okay, I gotcha.
Right. In character, it would probably phrase more along the lines of, any databases you have on pathology and treatment and things like that. And Al would mention that he has extensive medical training, but not at what it could be.
Gotcha.
That's cool.
Okay. Okay, so then while you guys are kind of letting all these ideas kind of percolate in your head, what you might desire or whatnot, we'll go ahead and do the L roleplay with sending the Twilight Covenant back to Freedom Station.
Sure.
Great. So give me just one more moment, fellas, as I just bring something up here. Great. So, as mentioned before, it's about 36 hours to get back to Freedom Station. So, is it fair to say that after an hour or so confirming what you guys want to do, you would get back onto the Twilight Covenant, leave the inside joke, and return to Freedom Station after making arrangements for a shuttle to pick you up at Freedom Station once you're done returning Stephen Ward his ship?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Great. So now I would like each of you to roll me a D100, please. So I got 27, 74, and a 56.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me take a look here. 27. Okay. 74. Sorry, as I'm saying this out loud, meaning nothing to you.
Numbers. Yay.
Numbers. Yay.
74.
I like to use advanced math to know what the fuck's going on.
You need to use that like in an actual session, just like, yes, I'd like to use advanced math. Why? To figure out what the fuck's going on.
Yup.
Math is very useful for knowing what's going on. But...
Inferno, I'd like to Bill Nye this.
Great. Oh my goodness. Okay. Sorry, I had to factor a few things into here. So now, oddly enough, I would like Piff.
Mm-hmm.
I would like you to roll me a 1d6, please.
Oh boy.
Now, Burn, I'd like you to roll me a 1d6.
Five.
And I know this seems convoluted, but this is all for a reason. Squee, I'd like you to roll me a 1d3.
All right. Okay, why is that not? Okay, there we go. Oh, hang on. This is something I gotta actually type out.
Yep.
Roll 1d3. 2.
Okay.
I win.
Thank you. Well, no, you don't win. We've been able to figure out everything here. Okay. So on your way back to Freedom Station, you've been traveling for a good 13 hours, lucky number 13, when, in fact, we'll say for the sake of simplicity, Alicia at this point is at the helm. Okay, if that's all right by you, Tom? Alicia's at the helm, and you hear her call over. Actually, either call back or kind of call through the intercom of the space station itself, and she says, "We have some sort of signal coming in. We're just passing by it. I'm not too familiar with the types, but it's kind of fast and it's beeping pretty quick." With later on, Blink would confirm that that's a distress signal. She says, should I track its path or should we keep on going?
Well, guys, we're gonna have to move to out of character,
Of course.
I think. Yeah. So,
I don't think Al would want
kind
to
of
help these people.
what?
Yeah.
I don't think Al likes helping people. I don't think that's what he's into. Sorry, you were saying?
Okay. So, anyways, we pretty much need to get the ship back to Stephen Ward, and we need to handle this, within the week, get back and all of that. We need to make sure that we are at Freedom Station by a certain time, otherwise we're not going to be able to get back. Because, there's another ship that they're sending in order to take us back. If we're not there, they might just leave. At least that's what I can think of off the top of my head.
If I could play devil's advocate as the GM, I think if you guys are later for whatever reason, the network would be concerned. They want you to come back. They're not going to just be like, oh, yeah, these guys are going to be on the expedition. Fuck them. Let's just leave without them. I'm pretty sure the default would be, well, let's wait and see if they show up, right? Or let's go and try to find them if they're gone, I don't think they'll just be like, let's shrug their shoulders, dust their hands. I guess they're not coming.
We'll send the expedition that they're on away.
Yeah.
So I just want to throw that in. I don't think they're going to be so cavalier and be like, well, they didn't get here at exactly 3:00. Fuck it, let's go.
Look, Inferno, this is the Space Mafia. I wouldn't put it past them.
Okay, fair enough.
Well,
Wait, so is that pertaining to the distress signal?
Yeah, he's concerned that if they're... I'm
Yeah.
assuming, Bern, you're concerned if we take too long that you're going to miss the boat on the shuttle back to the inside joke.
yes.
Okay. Good point. Is there any way to tell how far away the distress signal is coming from?
Alicia says, I got to travel a few miles closer. You can hear in the background, she kind of turns up the beeping, and the beeping is turned down, and you hear faded crackling dialogue of like, which seems to be some sort of automated message being replayed over and over again, but it is so unclear. The ship has to get a few miles closer, which will only take about a few minutes or so, in order to at least identify the distress signal itself. She says, I'm not too sure. This is a long-range radio band. She says, I don't know how far it could be.
Right. Well, I guess we should... Okay, out of character, Al's going to want to at least try. Who knows what's wrong?
Yeah. Yeah, let's check it out. Let's see how far this takes us.
You go with this, Piffy?
Yep.
Great. So, sure enough, Alicia does as you guys request, and she beams a little bit closer. She follows the radio signal until the message that's being broadcast comes out clear, and the message reads as thus: automated message. Capsule 42 ejected. Requesting immediate retrieval. Come again. Capsule... Wait, what number did I say? Fuck.
42.
42.
I
42.
love the number 42, by the way. I think I use that goddamn number way too much. Capsule 42, requiring immediate retrieval. This is not I was going to say this is not a test, but this is not a simulation. And it repeats on and on and on and on.
All right. If I understand correctly, and I'm not an expert on these things, that means that someone has fired an emergency escape pod and it's floating out there in space.
Blink would nod.
I think so.
That's exactly what that means.
Well, can we get a fix on its location?
Alicia says we'll have to. The signal is a lot stronger now. She says I'm not actually. Wait a second, Alicia. Let's have you do a skill check for once, girl.
Dun dun.
And great job, Alicia. Slow clap for you. And she says,
Yay!
I can't figure out the exact direction. I'm just going to have to keep following this signal until we get something else on the sensors. She says, I don't know how far this is going to take us. I'm sorry. And she kind of gives a resigned shrug.
I would look to the rest of the group. I mean, it's the only thing we're risking is time versus whoever's life is in there.
Yeah. Let's give it a shot. Let's see how far this goes.
Let's do this.
Great.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, Alicia, with the assistance of you fine folks, in fact, actually, since time is an issue, regardless of whether it is spaceship or not, if anyone has read sensory equipment, please speak now or forever hold your peace.
I can speak and forever hold my peace.
I do.
I have.
Mm.
Is there any,
Great. And Patrick, do you have it?
Yep.
Well, I would like all y'all to roll it, please.
Ah, shit.
Let me know how much you succeed or fail by.
Okay. I succeeded.
By?
By 8.
Okay.
I succeeded by 73. I rolled a 2.
Oh, that's very good.
Wow.
Patrick?
I rolled
9,
I
right?
succeeded by 9. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I figured. I just wanted to confirm. Good. So mostly by Al, but everyone else contributes too. You're able to, with Alicia concentrating on piloting, you guys are able to track the signal itself. And in fact, Al, you're able to identify ghost signals or small pieces of space debris in which this radio broadcast is bouncing off of, which are creating false coordinates. You're actually able to rather adeptly factor those out, which means you guys saved a ton of time tracing this signal. In fact, it only takes about 45 minutes of travel itself before you get a visual identification of what was emitting this broadcast. Oddly enough, this broadcast signal seems to have been not that far away, which is slightly perplexing, but not completely. Once again, the Twilight Covenant actually doesn't have any windows. It's all just a series of view screens in the cockpit of the ship itself. Oh yeah, by the way, let's bring us back so we can take a look at the old Twilight Covenant. There it is. Not the Thunderbird though. You go away, Thunderbird.
Bye-bye, Thunderbird.
Bye. Loves you. Okay. But on the view screens itself, thanks to some enhanced zooms, you're able to get a very clear picture of what you see. And what you see is, sure enough, confirmation. It appears to be some form of escape capsule. It is spherical in a way. In fact, it's more of oh God, what's it called? It's not like the size of like a cardboard tube. What do you call that? It's not cylindrical. There we go. I figured it out myself. Yay!
Well done.
It's a cylinder. Thank you. I'm smart and a genius, and I know so many words. It's in a cylindrical shape that seems to be a very burnished dark silver. However, I would like... Patrick, you have more of a mechanical skill. I'd like you to roll me a D100. No modifiers, though. 91. Okay. You can't quite put your finger on it, but something feels a little bit off. There's a lot of scratches and exterior damage on the ship, oddly enough, although you know for sure it's not weapons fire, right? But it seems, you can't quite put your finger on it, but it seems like it's old in a way, right? Like, this doesn't seem like a new, recently launched pod. All right. But other than that, it has a bright red light on one end of the cylinder itself, the cylinder, one end of this escape pod that is blinking on and off and on again, on off again, and it's quite bright. And it's fair to say that the signal is actually tracing exactly to that antennae. All right. Unfortunately, the Twilight Covenant's sensors are not able, they don't have any thermal sensors, unfortunately. But doing a few scans, I'm going to be using the rules that you used before. Rolling a few scans, you do notice that there doesn't seem to be any other energy transmitting throughout the ship, only through that broadcast antenna. So if there is any life support or any small thrusters or anything like that, they are currently completely inactive.